Hey, welcome in.
Welcome to the Arrowhead Addict podcast.
We are here coming to you live. Let me tell you, the dopamine, it's flowing.
I am damn excited. Damn excited.
We are so excited to be joining you guys tonight.
Oh! Well, how you doing, man? Patrick.
Will Sterling.
Yeah.
Super Bowl champion, two-time Pro Bowler, and Trent Green. Trent Green, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Oh, he picked it up! He picked it up! He's gonna score!
And we'll see you next week. But until then, as always, go Chiefs. Welcome in. It's the Arrowhead Addict podcast. Patrick Allen here with you. It is Thursday, the last Thursday without football for a long time. It's the OG hour here on the Arrowhead Addict channel. I am joined by my pal, one of the OGs in the Chiefs space and the NFL space, and of course here at Fansided, Matt Verderame from Sports Illustrated. How you doing, brother?
Doing well. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. It's a little hectic these days. I got stuff going on at the house. The kid's one. He's running around all over the place. I'm going to play. I've got rehearsals at night. It's, prime time for the sports calendar. So I'm certainly not lacking for things to do. I could probably use a few more hours in the day, but it is what it is.
I hear you. Have you gotten your Count Chocula fix in yet?
No, that's another thing that's on my list. Here's the problem. I've been at the grocery store. Yeah. So I'm not going to the right places. I go to we have Jewel here in Chicago. They never have Count Chocula. They don't get it. And then there's like a small mom and pop place that I'm at that grocery store a lot. They don't get it. Like I have to go. I don't go to like Meijer or Walmart very often, but I have to make a special trip to get my Count Chocula. And I will. But I feel like I'm okay. It's still August. If I get too far into September and I haven't had a bowl of Count Chocula yet, then something's wrong. But I'm okay. I've got time.
Yeah, I've probably got to calm down a little bit. I'm a little bit out of hand with it. It's been good. It's been good.
Do you like the new artwork?
Yeah, I'm all right with it. I'm actually pretty good with it.
Yeah.
Can't complain.
Yeah. It looks like you got a fresh shave up top too. You're looking clean cut.
I shaved all my hair off a couple days ago and basically trimmed off all my beard was getting aggressive. So I went from looking like I am 37 to looking like I was 15. It's been good. No, it's good. I don't like screwing around with my hair. I just don't. Like my daughter, she's like, "Oh, you're bald." I'm like, I actually can grow hair. I'm like, I hate it. Although, listen, at this point, if baldness comes, that's fine. I'm not upset about that either. But she makes fun of me all the time. Oh, you have no hair. I'm like, at this point, it's a running joke. I'm like, okay, I got to remember to tell her that Kelce got engaged to Taylor Swift. She'll be thrilled to death. You think I would have told her that by now, but I'm not a good father. So it takes a little time.
Yeah, I feel you with the hair, man. This play I'm doing, it's the Crucible. I'm playing a late 1600s farmer. So I've not shaved in a minute. I'm not cutting my hair because they weren't rocking the fades back then.
No, they were not.
Surprised to learn. They probably didn't even have mirrors, which would have been a good thing for guys like me and you. Back in the day, we'd have had a lot more confidence. Might not have improved our odds with the ladies that could see us, but at least we would think that there's a chance that we were good looking.
My wife, we got about 5 mirrors in the bedroom, and every time and it's like, oh my God, like can we put up like drapes or something over these when you're not looking at it? Like a lot of me, a lot more me than I need.
Yeah. You know what I do is I take out my contacts before I get in the shower so I don't startle myself on the way out.
You'd hate to go blind.
Yeah, it is. Listen, guys, we got a great show for you today. We're going to talk about the Chiefs roster cuts. We're going to play a couple of games too, which we like to do here on this podcast. We're going to do a little temperature check and see how Verderame feels about some hot topics. And we're going to do a little bit of true and false to get some predictions out there. If you want to become a member of the Arrowhead Addict podcast, check out the link in the description. We have 2 fantasy football drafts, long drafts that are happening right now. God, one of these, we may not get it done before the beginning of the season. I'm a little bit worried. But it's a lot of fun. It's a great way to support the show. We have a private Discord, and you can meet other fanatical Chiefs fans just like yourself. Before we get to the news, I've got to let you know that we're back working with our friends at Underdog. At football's back, so Underdog's back, and it's the best place to make your picks and win money all season long. Playing on Underdog is easy. You just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. You get your picks right, you could win up to 5,000 times your cash, and you can play for as little as $1. So for people like me, it's perfect. So this week on Underdog, you guys know I'm an Ohio State fan. I'm looking at this big Ohio State-Texas game. I'm selecting Jeremiah Smith to go higher than 0.5 rushing receiving touchdowns. This guy's a generational talent, and that's saying something, with some of the talent that's come through Ohio State. I think he's going to go off in this big spot now that he's had a year under his belt. And then Julian Sayin, I'm going to go lower on the 231.5 passing yards. Might seem a little paradoxical since, you got we're going over for Jeremiah Smith, but it's his first start, big stage. I think they'll lean on the running game a little bit in this one and their defense. So again, I'm going to go higher than half a rushing receiving touchdown for Jeremiah Smith and lower than 231.5 passing yards for Sayin. It's going to be a hell of a game, Ohio State, Texas this weekend. Okay, so you can download the app and sign up today. You got to use our promo code though, Arrowhead Addict. You'll score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code Arrowhead Addict. Millions of fans are already have won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? So you got to be 18 or older, 19 or older in Alabama, Nebraska, 19 or older in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia. You got to be present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com /web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offers not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. If you play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, you call the 24/7 Hope line, 1-877-8-HOPE-NEW YORK, or text HOPE New York to 467-369. Thank you for supporting Underdog. It's another great way to have fun and support the show. All right, let's get into it. Verderame news. Taylor and Travis. I know this was something that you've been agonizing over for a couple of years now, when this was going to happen, if it was going to happen, what the ring was going to look like, what kind of dress she might wear. But seriously, this is sort of like, it's weird, isn't it, to have the Chiefs kind of be so Hollywood. Nobody usually cares about Kansas City. This isn't something that has been normal for Chiefs fans, but it's like it's not football related, but we're happy for Travis,
Yeah, what the hell? Right? I mean, listen, good for him, good for Taylor. She now has more rings than a few teams in the AFC that the Chiefs compete with. Yeah. Now listen, I think you'd have to be a real a-hole not to be happy for people who are, fun, love, and being happy, and good for them. I mean, they're really, to be fair, and maybe I'm forgetting something or missing, I can't think of anything with either of them that I've ever sat there and been like, man, that's a really bad look for them. And I don't mean they're during the relationship. I mean like ever. And that's really hard for him, considering how famous he is. It is impossible for her. So, I mean, God knows if they stiffed somebody on the tip, or they weren't good to a fan. And, I mean, this day and age, you'd see it from 100 different angles. But I hope nothing but good things for them. They deserve it.
Yeah, for some reason, people just don't enjoy other people being happy.
It's because they're assholes.
Right. Yeah. It's a lot of that
reason. It's because they're an asshole.
Yeah. Yeah. They get annoyed, by her very presence on the television for 10 seconds during a clip. You know what I mean? Like, they complain. Can you imagine complaining about seeing Taylor Swift on your TV more than some of the ridiculous commercials that you have to deal with?
Yeah. Let's get her off the TV so I can get more of Fireman Ed. Hold on. Right. We don't have enough shots of Fireman Ed over there drinking a fifth because the Jets are 4-13 again. Or we don't have the shot of some guy just half drunk at SoFi because you can't take watching the Chargers go 7-10. Like, I guess that's the thing I've never understood about it. And by the way, this isn't a Taylor Swift thing. Like, this is go back and go through the years, right? Like, the only person's coming immediately to mind because of Brady is Giselle, right? Like, Giselle was on camera all the time. Like, I can't imagine sitting there being like, well, that's not right. I want to see some guy in section 315 who's so hammered he doesn't know what street he lives on. Like, they're going to show something. You want more close-up shots of the huddle? Like, I guess I don't really care. But yeah, listen, it's a good thing for football. It's a good thing for the game. It has helped to grow the game. The numbers and data prove that. And yeah, no, I don't get why anybody would be anything but happy for him, or at least at the very worst indifferent. Like I've seen on Twitter, like multiple Bills fans were like, well, when Josh Allen and Haley Steinfeld, when they got together, when they got engaged, they announced it on a quiet day on the calendar, and the Swift and Kelce did on NFL Cutdown Day. And I'm thinking to myself, like, do you think they actually thought about that?
Yeah.
Like Travis Kelce's like, no, babe, listen, we can't do it that day because some guy's going to get cut. We got people really, look, therapists should never go out of business. Okay? Ever.
No way. And I'll tell you what, man, it's such a ridiculous criticism. Like, for a lot of people, NFL Cutdown Day, it's their careers. It's a huge day. It means a lot. It's a big day in the industry. For Travis Kelce, it's Tuesday. Travis Kelce hasn't thought about Cutdown Day since college. So, you know what I mean? Like, he's not concerned about it. He's Travis Kelce. He probably doesn't even really realize it happens anymore. Yeah, it's ridiculous. They're going to be good for them, and it's great. Look, it's great fodder for the nutso conspiracy theorists. They're already starting. Oh, she's going to win the Super Bowl. They think they're going to get married at halftime of the Super Bowl or something.
Great, fantastic. Let's give them 2 hour. Give them 2 hour halftime.
Yeah, I do wish though, if they're doing documentaries. The Chiefs documentary, which I've been watching. They should do a documentary on these people because I would watch it after the season. Just like fans of other teams in their living rooms, eating Cheetos, pounding, beast ices, just flipping out every time anything good happens for the Chiefs, talking to their wives, here's what's going on in the NFL. And they're doing all the crazy conspiracy theory stuff. I would sit down and watch these people melt down. It'd be great TV.
Listen, I am for anybody who's a loser melting down and being made fun of for it. I am like, I am never a fan of bullying, but I am a fan of people who are adults just being ceaselessly mocked for being a dope. And I'm all for look, there's nothing better than when they show some fan who's been obnoxious as hell for 4 quarters and then their team loses and they're just devastated. And it's like, you know what? I don't feel bad for you. You're a terrible person. How'd it coming? Like and like it's shown throughout the years. If you go to a game, invariably you're eventually going to sit next to or very close to like fans of the other team. Most people are completely fine, and you can just sit there and watch the game, and they want their team to win. You want your team to win, and fine. Like you can have like a normal conversation. And then there are the handful of people who are just completely out of their minds as human beings. And those people deserve to be told they're terrible.
Yeah, I agree. On to more actual football news. You ever see that show Pawn Stars?
Oh, yeah, billion.
You know how there's that meme that floats around where it's like the guy brings, somebody says something and they say, hey, and then Rick says, hey, can you buy this from me? And Rick says, best I can do is XYZ, right? And the meme is that it's always something, that you don't want. I feel like this week, Brett Veach walked into the pawn shop with Sky Moore and said, hey, Rick, I got this Sky Moore. What can you give me for it? And Rick said, best I can do is Clyde Edwards-Helaire because Chiefs fans are just they're going catatonic. They got rid of Sky Moore, who they despise because it didn't work out, and now Clyde Edwards-Helaire is back on the practice squad.
I'm going to be really honest. I have no fucking clue why he's on the team. I really like. Look, there's very, very little to criticize about the Chiefs in the Mahomes era. One of the things I will criticize is how they just cannot move off some of these guys. It seems like they just live for him. Like Derek Notty's on this team. Derek Notty's not good. I'm sorry, he's not good. He wasn't good last year. They played him 20% of the snaps because he was terrible, and they played Mike Pennell 30% of the snaps because Mike Pennell was better than Derek Notty. And then they were like, well, no, we've got to get rid of Mike Pennell because he's 34 and we got to get younger. So their answer to getting younger was signing 29-year-old Derek Notty, who's not good. And then they also like beefed up Norman Lott and turned him into a nose tackle, which I don't understand why they did that. Like that guy was a pretty twitchy, explosive D tackle, and they turned him into an overweight nose tackle. I don't get like what the thought process was there. I don't know if that was intentionally what they were trying to do, but I think that's what ended up happening. I thought he was a really interesting draft pick, and now I think they are screwing around with this too much. But no, I don't like the Clyde Edwards-Helaire thing's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I understand they love him in the locker room and all that. Bro, I get it. That's great. Like this is not, you're not trying to all just like walk around the locker room and sing Kumbaya like you're trying to win football games. Why don't you go get a younger running back who you can develop instead of a guy who frankly never plays, and when he does play isn't good? I don't get what the second I saw MVS got cut, I was like, oh my God, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
They're going to do it.
And he got cut and then CH got cut from the Saints, man. Like,
dude, he's awful. I'm not trying to be, I'm really not.
Yeah.
He seems like a super, super nice guy, and I respect everything he's gone through. As a football player, he's just not a good football player in the NFL. He's not.
Yeah, it hasn't worked out. He's gotten cut from a team that is going to be terrible. Alvin Kamara is still good, but he's 150 years old, and it was wide open for him to make that team if he showed something, and they cut him. And I know the Chiefs were looking for a running back, which I think they should have been, because they have another 150-year-old running back in Kareem Hunt and a rookie and Pacheco. So, but they don't want to pay anything for it. They're just obsessed with, for whatever reason, they gotta know guys they know, guys that know the offense.
They just live for those
just
guys.
In case, right? They got, and it's like these guys. I know that's complicated offense and all that stuff, and you want to bring guys, but get them up to speed. They're getting paid millions of dollars, and if they're on the practice squad, all they have to do is work on whatever you need them to know. So why can't you get a 22-year-old who's got some juice instead of bringing back a guy that you know is going to get you 3 yards in a cloud of dust?
But like also, again, this whole idea that, well, the offense is so complicated they can't figure it out. I got news for everybody. They run the same damn runs that everyone else in the league runs. Counters, traps, dives. Like this idea that like there's no way anyone could possibly understand how to execute. Who are the two best receivers they've had over the last 2 years? Rookies, both of them. Like this notion that no one could possibly understand. The two best receivers they've had since Hill are rookies. The best player they've had in the Mahomes era catching the ball is Kelce. And Mahomes makes fun of Kelce all the time because Kelce never even runs the route he's supposed to run. Kelce just runs out like 8 yards and then does whatever the hell he wants. And Mahomes just has like ESP with him at this point, knows what he's doing. But that stuff is such a fallacy. It drives me insane. If you're a receiver, like I understand there's sight adjustments and I get it. There's a lot, and they are a complex offense. Like they are that. I get it. Hey, run an 8 route. Okay. Run. I mean, it's like this idea that it's so hard that the only guy who can execute this is Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He couldn't execute it when he was on the team.
Yeah.
Like, he's not, now he's going to come in and do. I just don't get it. I'll never understand it. To me, it's just a complete waste of a move.
And I really don't understand the strategy of let's let this guy leave and go to the Jets so we can trade for him. Like what? That's the bold strategy. It's like we're going to cut Naughty, sign Pennell. So we're choosing Pennell. Then Naughty's going to leave, go to the Jets. and then we're going to cut Pennell and trade Fernandes back, just like we did for McCole Hardman. Like, what are we doing here? In the Jets,
Also,
we don't want anybody the Jets cut.
Can anyone explain? Can anyone alive explain why they traded for Derek Nottie? Like, if he just so it's clear here, if he gets released, he does not have to go into waivers because he's a vested veteran. Okay, he's played more than 4 years in the league. He's not subject to waivers. So if he gets cut, he can sign with anybody. He can sign with anybody in the league. You're going to tell me that like what? There's going to be a bidding war for Derek Nottie? Like, wait till he gets cut and just sign him. Like it just makes I have no idea. As much as I will usually defend Brett Beach to the death because he's done an amazing job. I don't get it. The process with this, Pennell's a better player. He would have cost you nothing to keep. You cut Mike Pennell. You trade for Derek Nottie, who's not good, who you could have just signed for nothing. It's very, very bizarre.
Matt, I lost your audio, and I think Richard did too. So you may want to go out and come back in, and I'll fill some time. That was strange. I thought maybe it was internet, but it was just me. All right, anybody, sorry for the disruption, everybody. We'll get Matt back in just a second here. I'm with Matt on this, though. It's just strange. Look, these late round picks that the Chiefs are trading for guys like Derek Nottie, they don't care. Like they don't have enough roster spots. They have so many good players that it's not really so much about the picks because their 6th round, 7th round picks are probably they have a long shot to make an impact on this team anyway. And as Matt comes back, let's do an audio check there. I'm getting nothing. Richard will work with you in the waiting room to figure that out, and I will keep yapping. Okay. So, yeah, I don't get it. As far as the rest of the roster cuts, let me know in the chat if you guys thought there were any big surprises there. I didn't really. I know a lot of people were talking about Pohl, the left tackle, that was a surprise cut. I guess that was a little bit of a surprise based on what people saw. There was also like a hysteria around Robert Tonyan, and this is probably a good time to kind of illustrate things for people who don't understand, like how the Chiefs have to like manipulate the roster sometimes. Earlier, Matt mentioned the whole vested veteran thing of not having to go through waivers. So, so when Robert Tonyan got cut, he's a vested veteran. He is not subject to waivers, and the Chiefs can just pick him back up later. So why did they cut Robert Tonyan when he had such a good preseason? Well, it's because other guys that they may likely cut if they're at the back of the roster are probably young guys, rookies who might get claimed on waivers. So like, let's say, and I don't think this is the case, but like, let's say Bashard Smith he's the last guy at the end of the roster. Well, if you're like, well, we can't cut Robert Tonyan, we got to cut Smith, and they cut him, somebody very well may pick him up off waivers. So what the Chiefs do in these situations, and they've done a similar thing in years past, they cut Robert Tonyan with the understanding, they call him up and they're like, hey, Rob, we have to do this roster manipulation thing. We're going to cut you, protect some of these players that we don't want to lose off of the team, and then we'll bring you back. So he's going to come back, and he's already back. He's on the practice squad. And then what they're going to do is Rashee Rice is suspended, and they knew this was coming. So they're going to put him on I forget what the list is called, but they're going to put him on like the reserve list, and he's going to not take up a roster spot. And then they're going to bring in Robert Tonyan. And that's how that works. So it probably induced a little bit of panic, but don't panic. He's going to be back. And I think he's a good he's a good bet to contribute this year. Obviously, it's going to be Kelce and Noah Gray, but Tunyan's a veteran, and if something were to happen to one of those guys, it's nice to have him as well. Okay. Jesus Perez says Pennell's coming back 100%. He very well may, although he did post something on Instagram that was a little like he posted a Joker clip from the Batman movie. So it seems like he's not particularly happy right now. Blake T says, is Big Bob going to get the CJ Spiller experience? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think he was just like the perfect candidate to do this roster manipulation with. Okay. Let's dive in a little bit, and hopefully we'll get Verderame back here in a bit. A Chiefs temperature check. And so we'll ask Verderame these if he gets back. And I want you guys in the chat to sound off. What is your temperature on these situations, players, whatever they are? So, for example, we're going to go with, there's a Verderame back. He's in the waiting room, I think, right now, but Richard's going to check with him. Or are you back? Well, I can hear you, so that's good. So if you're on screen, I can't tell. There's 3 boxes. You guys can't see what I see, but I think Verderame he's back. There he is. We can hear him.
I'm on Google Chrome now because what the hell was I using before? What is it? Safari.
Safari? Yeah, stay away from Safari. All right, let's dive in, Verderame. Temperature check. Okay, so are you high, warm, or cold? And high obviously is good, right? On these players and or situations. So I'm going to start off with Kingsley Suamatea at left guard. What's your temperature check? High, warm, or cold?
It was Antarctica before the 3rd preseason game. I would say somebody's calling me from my daughter's school. It's never good. I would say that it's warm. Like, he played really well against the Bears, and that was the most action he had all preseason. So I'll say warm, but it's kind of truthfully like a lukewarm. I'm kind of like, I got to see more. I've got to see more. I've got to see him do a better job than he did the first 2 weeks. I'd like to see a lot of what we saw out of him in the 3rd game where I thought he played well.
Blake T says 13 degrees. Yeah, I'm going cold. I'm polar vortex on Kingsley right now. Fair
enough.
Decent performance in a preseason game against the Bears, who are probably going to stink on defense, is not enough to get me excited. I'm sorry, it's just not, because I have all of his last year playing in real NFL games, and a week before that getting just manhandled and chucked around by Seattle. So I'm just nervous. Sure. I hope he's developing and he got some confidence from that. But I'm polar vortex until we see it, because he's got to prove it, and he's got to prove it for more than a week.
Yeah, no, I get it. I would say I'm like lukewarm. I'm not polar vortex. I'm not really warm though. I'm kind of like, okay, you weren't a disaster in that Bears game. If you can just they don't need him to be great. They need him to just be fine. And that's, that remains to be seen whether they can do it or not.
And they are going to attack him, man. The Chargers, the left side of that line, they might put the whole damn defense over there and just have them all run.
Power formation on the blitz.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. So, and credit to Creed Humphrey, because Creed Humphrey is going to be he basically is playing center and left guard this season for the foreseeable future, which is difficult to do. But if anybody can do it, it's Creed.
Yeah, it's a challenge. They're going to be They're going to be doing everything they can to help him. I can guarantee.
Right. And Trey Smith is going to be earning his big contract there, because he is going to be on an island out there, because Creed is going to have to help Kingsley for the time being. Okay, let's go to maybe some warmer climates. Josh Simmons at left tackle. Are you high, warm, or cold?
No, I'm very much high on Josh Simmons. Listen, I was one of the few guys, and I'll own this. I said all the draft process I wouldn't take him, because I was terrified of his patella tendon. It wasn't a talent question. It was a question. That's a really, really scary injury, and he's 320 pounds. And if that thing doesn't work out, it's like really not going to work out. But I don't know how you couldn't be high on him right now. I mean, I went back and watched that Bears game. He was dominant. There was not a single snap in that game. You're like, oh, he kind of lost that rep. He just annihilates people. There are certain reps with him that you just start laughing. He'll just take a guy and just drive him 10 yards out of the play. Which he did on one of the Pacheco runs. So, no, I mean, listen, if he stays healthy, he looks like a major, major star in the making for them.
Yeah, and when I was putting this together, I thought, should I make the criteria hot, warm, and cold? But I went with high because I felt like, I don't know. It might be kind of weird to say like, yeah, I'm hot. I'm hot for Josh Simmons. But you know what? I'm going to make an exception here. I'm not high on Josh Simmons. I'm hot for Josh Simmons. That's one I'm very excited about this player. Former Buckeye, of course. And Gary says temperature rising. Beautiful 80 degree day, says Mr. Brownstone. Okay. Temperature check. High, warm, or cold, Verderame, the secondary depth.
Warm, because I really like Noah Williams. And I think that they're 4 deep at corner because I think he can play. I don't love Najee Johnson and Joshua Williams at corner. At safety, I'm more cold because, look, Cook's a good player, and I really like Hicks. And Connor, I do believe, is a better safety than a corner. I actually think Connor's like a decent safety. But they love their 3 safety looks. So, like, the depth really kind of refers to the 4th spot. And that's Roland Wallace, who they're converting from a slot guy. I feel like if they had one more safety, I'd feel much better. But I like the corner depth. I think they have 4 corners that can legitimately play. And I don't know what else you could ask for. Like, you go find me the team who feels great about corner 5. You know, like, I think if you got 4 corners that you feel like, hey, that guy can go out there and play football and be pretty good, I think you're pretty happy about that. But I will say warm because I like Williams. I'm warm at corner. I'm cold at safety.
Yeah, I'm cold on this one. I'm nervous about it. I think I'm more confident in it than I am with Kingsley right now because of the track record the Chiefs have in developing the secondary players. But I wish I was a little bit. There was, I wish we had one more stud corner. But it is what it is. Let's see how we go. Let's see how these guys develop. But I feel like Najee Johnson's quickly morphing into, like one of those Spags guys that everybody that watches the team, doesn't like, but Spags does. Okay. Shout out in the chat as well. We're getting some Joshua Clayton over on Facebook, I think, says warm on the corners. All right. High, warm, or cold, the running back room.
Cold. That running back room to me is just... Now, listen, I'll give one caveat to this. If they actually play Brashard Smith, then I'm warm.
Yes.
But my concern is that they will bury him on the depth chart. I don't know why Elijah Mitchell's on the team. I have no idea what he does. They need Elijah Mitchell. I would argue of all 53 guys on the roster, he's the one that makes the least amount of sense to me. I think Pacheco's getting a little bit of a bad rap. Like, the guy was hurt last year, coming off of a broken leg and didn't play well. But the first 2 years of his career, he was a good running back. Like, the guy averaged 4.5 yards a carry. I mean, if he's doing that, you're pretty happy with him. He can catch the ball, he can block. So, like, I like him. Hunt is fine if he's in short yardage situation. Like, if they're using Hunt, short yardage, throw the ball to him occasionally, that's cool. If they're trying to give Kareem Hunt, like, 15 carries a game, I'm going to lose my mind. Like, he doesn't need to be given that. He shouldn't be given that. If they were going to use Brashard Smith, I feel so much better about it because I love that kid's talent. Honestly, when I went to training camp, I thought he was the best player on the offense, not named Mahomes, that day. He was unbelievable. Wow. Catching the ball, running the ball. So if they were to use him, I'd say warm. My fear is that they won't, so I'll say cold.
I'm cold on it, but I'm excited about, that drive in that last preseason game. The fact that he came out there was part of that drive, and they were throwing him the ball. I know he wasn't able to bring it in. It was a rocket from Mahomes. He's got to make the catch, but it was a tough catch. That first catch that he dropped, he was moving, man. Like, he caught that ball. Look out! Like, he makes a guy miss.
He can fly.
Yeah, that was exciting, and I haven't seen that much juice. When's the last time we saw that much juice coming out of the backfield? Pacheco's fast. He can do it, but he never really. No,
there was a play. Oh God, what was it? I'm trying to. Oh, it was a Seattle game. There was a preseason Seattle game where Smith got caught behind the line of scrimmage and he reversed field and ran for like 10 yards in the first down.
Yeah.
And I was watching that and I said, I'm not saying he's this guy by any means. Please do not mishear me. The last player the Chiefs had on the roster that could do that was Jamal Charles.
Yep.
He turned around and was just like, it's called to beat 3 guys to the corner. It's fine. And he gained 10 yards. And like the throw that he caught and the throw that he should have caught, but hit him in the hands, he dropped. Like on both those, he just torched the linebacker. I think I had no shot. And the one thing I would say about Smith, I find really interesting. If you play a heavy man team, I trot that guy out there and split him out of the backfield in motion. And okay, you want to put a linebacker on that guy in space? Go nuts. He's going to torch you. He's a receiver who plays running back. Like I just think if you're the Chiefs, I'm not saying he needs to start. I'm not saying he's got to play 30 plays a game. You've got to find a way to work that kid into the game. If it's a half dozen plays a game where you're like, all right, we're going to get him the ball, fine. But it should at least be that. And then if he does well, build off of it. But my concern is that the Chiefs look at rookies and they don't want to play them early. And it drives me nuts, but that's the way they are.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. Okay. Travis Kelce's impact this year. High, medium, or cold?
Warm. I think that I don't know that he'll ever have 1,000 yards again, but I think he could be a guy who is, 900, 850, 900. And I think he have more touchdowns. I'll show you they have 4. I can see him having like 7 touchdowns. And if he does that, he's probably a Pro Bowl tight end. So like, I still look, because he's not what he once was, I think it's very easy to think, oh yeah, Travis on the downside. He was the second best tight end in the conference last year behind Bowers. So I still think he's a very good player for them. Yes, he's not what he once was, but he's still very good. Also, you can tell he slimmed down. Like, you could tell that he lost some weight. So, listen, how much does that help at age 36? I don't know. It doesn't hurt. I still think he's going to be a plus player for him. I really do.
I'm high on Kelce. I've been all off season. Look, some of it is unfounded. It's just I have a belief in him. I think I know we get enamored by the age thing. Like as a 42-year-old, I could tell you 36 ain't that old. He's, so if he's a little bit lighter, if his body's feeling good, if he got good treatment and he's locked in, I still think he can do some things. And I was probably warm on him heading into the season because of the weight loss and stuff. But after seeing a couple of those plays and the wiggle back in the preseason game, I was like, oh, okay. And I've been saying all offseason, he's going to go for 1,000 yards and no one believes me. Now with this Rashee Rice suspension, maybe if he's got the wiggle back, we will see. He's going to see his share of double teams, so he's going to have to win. But I'm high on him. All right, you got something to say? One more thing on Kelce?
No, I think look, they desperately need for him not to have to be the guy all season. Like, they just immediately, like week 4 on, we're like, well, Travis is it because everybody else is hurt and Worthy's a rookie. They need to rely on Worthy. They need to rely on Hollywood Brown. They need to allow Rice to be the number 1 option when he's out there. And if they do that, I think it makes Kelce even better, honestly. Like, I think it'll help him rather than just, hey, Kelce, you're going to get 150 targets. It's way too much to ask for a guy his age.
And last one on the temperature check, and you just mentioned him, Hollywood Brown's availability / impact.
Well,
high, warm, or cold?
It's not great. It's cold because I first of all, I got to be honest. I wonder if there's a part of me is like, is Tyquan Thornton going to just take over the role that Hollywood Brown had anyway? I mean, I don't want to overreact to the preseason, so I'll say that right now I'm not convinced of that. But Hollywood Brown has missed a lot of this offseason. He's got an ankle. He's got this. He's got that. And, like, he's been a guy over the course of his career who's been beat up at times. Not horribly, but a little bit. Look, I still think when everybody on the receiver depth chart is healthy, he's the number 3 receiver. But I also think, like, could you play Tyquan Thornton more? Sure. Could you play Jalen Royals at some point? Sure. Could you play Juju here and there? Sure. Like, I think the only 2 constants in that receiver room are going to be Rice and Worthy. And then it's going to be, like, how does this all fit together? Thornton's a weird guy because on one hand, I go, yeah, all right, Thornton's done nothing in his career. That guy is like 24 years old. He's 6'2" and runs a 4.2 40. That's not nothing. And, sometimes it's just a matter of you find the right place at the right time. One thing that has stood out to me, and I thought this even the day I went to camp, but it's been evident all summer. He just has a chemistry with Mahomes. He just does. Like sometimes that just happens. And for whatever the reason, it just seems like those two have been able to make it work.
Usually when a guy like Tyquan Thornton, he was like a second-round pick, right?
Yeah, 50th overall.
Usually when those guys don't work out after a couple seasons, they don't work out. Like they're just,
Correct.
That's it, right? As we've seen with Sky Moore. But it's not impossible. It is not impossible. It's not like he was on the world's best offense. And sometimes you catch lightning in a bottle and you snag somebody. I'm not saying he's going to go out there and be Randy Moss or anything, but if he can step in there and be that deep threat for the Chiefs, and like people keep comparing him to Justin Watson, like can he be the Justin Watson for them? I would be looking for more out of him than that.
He's got to be more than that, or like, what is even the point?
Right. So, we will see. I am cold though on Hollywood Brown. Haven't seen anything yet, but he's got a chance to prove it. Okay, let's move on to predictions for the season. We're going to play true or false season predictions. I got a few here for you. Let's dive right into it. Patrick Mahomes will re-enter the MVP conversation this year. True or false?
I think he's going to throw for 4,500 plus yards and 35 plus touchdowns. And if he does that, he'll be in the MVP conversation. I think, look, the biggest thing I took out of that Bears game, and it's a preseason game. I'm not trying to make it more than it is. The one thing about that, we can talk about the Thornton throw, and he had all day to throw the football. And if that happens, that guy's the best player in the league. Period. End of story. They've won the Super Bowl repeatedly with him having no protection. If they block for him, it's over. He will throw for 300 yards a game and be dominant as hell. Like that's who he is. So yes, I think he will be absolutely in the MVP race.
Chad agrees. Blake T says he put money on it yesterday, so he's saying true. Joshua Clayton says he's going to go 4,500 and 40 touchdowns again. I'm with you. I'm true. I just think he's going to force that ball downfield. And with Xavier Worthy being in his second year, they've got a much better wide. There's no Sky Moore out there anymore. I think they have a much better wide receiver room, better blocking, and he's Patrick Mahomes. So, he's probably pretty pissed off after there's a lot of bulletin board material out there for him, especially after that Super Bowl. So we shall see. Okay. The Chiefs' leading receiver in yards will be Xavier Worthy. True or false?
Well, Rice would have been the obvious choice if he was there for all 17 games. He's not going to be. True. I think it will be. I will say, though, I may be alone. I actually think Rice still has a shot to do it. I think Rice is going to have that good of a year. I really like. I don't. 6 is probably too much to overcome. Like if it was 4 games, I probably would have picked him. But because Rice is out, I actually think Worthy's going to go over 1,000 yards this year. Because I don't think, like, first of all, 50 yards a game gets you to, 850? So, like, you only need a little more than that. I think he will. I think Worthy will lead the team. Again, if Rice was there, I would have picked Rice at about 1,500 yards. But since he's not there, I actually think Rice could still get to 1,000. I think it'd be tight, but I think he could do it. But I'll take Worthy.
Yeah, Matt Connor, editor-in-chief over there at Arrowhead Addict, and one of our co-hosts here is still very high on Rice having a very good season despite the suspension. We'll see. All right. George Karlaftis will lead the Chiefs in sacks for the 3rd straight year. He tied Chris Jones in 23 with 10.5 sacks, and was the leader last year. True or false?
False. I think Jones will do it. I think Jones will lead the team. He last year did not have a ton of sacks, but if you look at all of his underlying numbers like pressures and quarterback hits, he was unbelievable. I think he'll do it. I think Jones is going to hit double digits. It might be the last time he does it. I mean, he's not 25 years old anymore, but I'll take Chris Jones. I think Karlaftis is going to have a good year, but I'm going to take Jones to have a tremendous season.
Really quickly on Karlaftis, and I tweeted this out earlier. I just thought it was really interesting. He's been so good for this team in the playoffs. George Karlaftis is tied with a lot of other guys. He's 37th all time in postseason sacks, but there's a lot of guys who are bunched together. If he gets 2 more, he'll have more than Neil Smith and be tied with Nick Bosa. If, of course, Bosa doesn't get any more. If he gets 4 more playoff sacks, he will move into the top 10, and he'll be tied with Too Tall Jones and Reggie White. And if he gets 6 more, yeah, it's not bad. If he gets 6 more, he'll move past number 4, who, by the way, is Frank Clark on the list, leaving him half a sack shy of Bruce Smith. He's 24 years old. And now look, nobody, when you read this stat, is saying like, hey, this guy, George Karlaftis, is as good as Neil Smith and Bruce. Like, it's what we're saying, though, is that he has been great in the playoffs. He's benefited from playing alongside Chris Jones, and he plays with Patrick Mahomes. He's 24. He's going to be in the playoffs. He just got a new deal. So he's going to be in the playoffs probably every season if he stays healthy, and they're going to win probably at least a game and play. So he's probably going to play in 2 games a lot of the times, at least. Where do you see this going for him? Frank Clark came to the Chiefs sort of, mid-career. George Karlaftis has a chance to do something really interesting here. Where do you think he ends up?
Oh, I think he'll be in the top 3 by the time his career is over. I mean, he's in Kansas City for the next 6 years contractually. I mean, how many playoff games is he going to play over that time? 12, 15?
Right.
Like, yeah, I mean, he's been incredible. Like, and yeah, it's funny. Like, yeah, no, he's not Bruce Smith or Reggie White, but he's good enough that, like, look, Frank Clark had a career that, in the regular season, he was a good player. But when people think of Frank Clark, what do they think about? They think about like he was just unbelievable in the playoffs. And I think that's very similar to how Karlaftis may be remembered. Karlaftis might be a guy that ends his career with like 75 sacks, but everybody's going to look back and go, yeah, man, but in the playoffs, the guy was just dominant. And he has been. He's led the league in sacks each of the last 2 years in the playoffs. He's been excellent. I think he'll certainly get in the top 5 by the end of his career, not even higher, for sure.
It's just a crazy thing. And look, there are a lot of great pass rushers. You have to be on a good team. You have to have the opportunity.
Yeah,
this is a specialized stat, right? Like, you have to have the opportunity to get into the playoffs to even get those sacks. And it's just hard to get 1 sack in a game, even for good pass rushers. So it's a special mix of opportunity and not being the focal point of being stopped. So I think late career, post Chris Jones, how far he goes in the statistic will come down to, does he take 1 more step forward as a pass rusher? And if he does, I think he's got a real shot here to really cement his name in those record books.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. All right. True or false, the Chiefs will struggle offensively until Rashee Rice gets back.
God. You know what? Honestly, if their offensive line's good, false.
Yeah.
If they can block, false. Now, I will say this. I think Rice will turbocharge the offense. So I think you could still see one of those like graphics on CBS week 14 where it's like weeks 1 through 6. And then like since Rice came back, and it's just like unbelievable once Rice is back. But I still think like they can be a top 10 offense without it. By all the metrics, they were a top 10 offense last year in a lot of things. It was just crazy. But if the offensive line's good, I still think it'll be a good offense. With Rice, I think it has the capability of being a great offense.
I'm with you on false on this one. As long as they can block, they have weapons, and they've got Andy Reid. They're going to move the football, and they've got Patrick Mahomes. They'll be fine. Okay. Isaiah Pacheco will have his first 1,000-yard rushing season. True or false?
False. I think he's going to be much better than he was a year ago. I think he'll get back to being good, but they love their committees, and I think Kareem Hunt's going to get the ball too much, and they'll get Brashard Smith a touch here and there, and who the hell knows with Mitchell, and God knows they're going to try to find the way to get CEH 100 carries in the season. So I'll say false, but I think he could have 800 to 900 and be super effective.
He's been very close before.
Very close.
I'm going to go true. He looks right to me. I think he's going to get the bulk of the carries because they don't really have anybody else. I do think they'll use Kareem Hunt short yardage. And the main reason I'm saying true is because if Kingsley Suamataia works out, this team's going to be able to run the football. My God, he can. The one thing he can do that gets me excited, he can run block. Josh Simmons is no joke. You get those two out there. I mean, we've seen some of it in the preseason with Creed and Trey Smith. There's going to be some space
that's fair.
Pacheco.
That is to your point. You're right about listen, Kingsley. He can run block. That has been evident. So I agree with you on that. He has been awesome in that regard.
Yeah, and they're going to need to run the football, I think, to help him gain confidence and help that left side of the line a little bit, especially early in the season. So, I'm going to go true. We'll see if I'm right. He's got to not run into the back of Creed, though. That'd
be helpful. That'd be really helpful.
Other than Josh Simmons, true or false? Other than Josh Simmons, Austin Gelati will make the biggest rookie impact. True or false?
All right. Yeah, I kind of want to say Noel Williams, but I don't think he's going to get enough opportunity unless somebody gets hurt, unfortunately, in front of him. I'll say true, but I'm very uneasy about it because I think Noel Williams could. I think Smith could if they ever given the opportunity. But I'll say true. I'll say that I think he's going to get a decent amount of run as a rotational pass rusher, and he's looked pretty good so far.
Yeah, I'm with you, true. And by the way, really quickly on Omar Norman Lott, I meant to say, this whole weight gain thing may not have had anything to do with the Chiefs. It might just be that the store closest to his house got Count Chocula in like July.
I'd understand that.
And they're just trying to make lemonade out of lemons in this case. All right, just quickly, we'll get to these last few. True or false, the Chiefs will face a real challenger within 2 games for the AFC West crown this year.
False. I've spent all summer saying who is it? The Raiders aren't that team. I think Denver's I actually think Denver made the playoffs, but I think they're like a 10-win team. I think the Chargers are like a 9-win team. I think Kansas City, I picked the Chiefs over the side. I think I picked them to go 13-4. So no, I don't think I just don't think anybody in that division is good enough to really push them. If it is anybody, I'd say it's Denver. But again, it's like who I think it would have to be because the Chiefs have injuries or because the Chiefs just really don't play up to their standard. Because the rest of those teams, I just think to beat the Chiefs out in the division, you're at a minimum, you're going to have to win 12 games. Which one of those teams is winning 12 games? I don't know. And if I could listen to one more person say the Chargers are improved, how? Can anyone alive point me to how? Because I'm yet to see it or understand. How are they improved? What did they do?
Derwin James isn't hurt yet.
Well, unfortunately for them, and legitimately, unfortunately, Rashawn Slater is.
Yeah.
How is that team? The team is worse. Slater's gone for the year. Palmer went to the Bills. Bosa's out the door. Samuel's gone. How is that team better? I just don't. Mac is 47 years old. How is that team better? Because they brought back geriatric Keenan Allen. How is that team better?
Yeah.
I don't understand. I genuinely am baffled that J.K. Dobbins is gone. They brought in Najee Harris. So I'm not saying this as a joke. I'm serious. I have no idea. Can he? Is his vision okay? Does anyone know this? I don't know. I have no idea how you can make the argument that team's better than they were a year ago.
I agree. Okay, true or false? Chiefs will secure the number 1 seed.
False. I think Buffalo will, because Buffalo's schedule is a joke. I think Buffalo is going to get it. I think the Chiefs will be the number 2 seed. That's my immediate. Well, I will say this: if the Chiefs beat them in Buffalo, then I think they'll be the number 1 seed. But to be fair, that seems to be kind of the trend. The Chiefs lose to them in the regular season, then beat them when it counts. Which, by the way, is exactly what I would pick to happen this year. Is that they'll just go up there and beat them in the AFC title game.
I'm with you. I'm going to go false. It's just a really hard thing to do to have the best record. The Chiefs have a really difficult schedule. They've left side, they may have some growing pains here or there. The division's much better than it has been in years, so they might, drop one of those. I'll go false. And then lastly, the Chiefs will return to the Super Bowl for the 4th straight year. True or false?
True. I mean, look, and it's not a homer thing. It's just, it's legitimately, I've been asked this 30 times on the radio in the last 2 weeks. I say the same thing every time. They are a bad half of football away against Cincinnati from going for the 7-peat in the AFC. Not picking against that fucking team. Like, you pick against them. I mean, the Bills never beat them when it counts. The Ravens beat nobody when it counts. And I don't think anybody else is even good enough to challenge them in a playoff game in January or certainly at Arrowhead. Like, if they lost to anybody in a playoff game, not named the Bills or the Ravens, I'd be stunned. And that includes Cincinnati, by the way, because I think if the Chiefs played Cincinnati, they'd score 55 points on them. Like, I would be stunned if they lost to anybody in the AFC not named Baltimore or Buffalo. And I just look at those two teams and say, how could you pick one of them over Kansas City? I mean, if you just want to sit there and say, hey, look, I think it's their time, they're due, fine. That is the argument. Baltimore beats nobody when it matters, ever. And Buffalo has had 4 shots at the Chiefs, and they can never beat them. And I got to be honest, this is one of the years I think Baltimore's roster is really, really good. I don't feel that way about the Bills. And I felt for years that the Bills have had a really, really good team. I thought sometimes people underrated them even. Not so much nationally, but I thought sometimes Chiefs fans would look at, we'll beat the Bills. I always felt like the Bills are the biggest threat to them. I don't feel like that. I think the Bills might be the 1 seed this year because their schedule's a joke. I think the Chiefs see them in a playoff game, they're going to light them up like a Christmas tree. Can the Bills, can they guard anybody? Can they cover? I think the Chiefs, until proven otherwise, it's like the Pats all those years. You just take the Pats, and if they don't get there, fine. But you take it.
Yeah. The 7-peat thing. Yeah, and Patrick Mahomes had a wide open receiver too, by the way, to win that game against Cincinnati. I still to this day think he had a concussion. I think he took a ding on that. He did not look like something was wrong. Like maybe he panicked or freaked out or something. He's human, and but I've always wondered if he was just not quite seeing the field right, because he just it's the only time I can ever think in a situation like that where Mahomes seemed to crumble under the pressure. And I don't know. Anyway, lastly, I got to ask it because you said they're going to the Super Bowl. Do they win it? True or false?
I don't know.
You're not going to say?
I don't
know.
Doing it? Because I always, my dad always used to say this when I was younger, and I've always kind of taken it. I think it's true. You get the Super Bowl, you're playing one team in one game. It just depends, And I was a dope, 2/3 of the country last year. I was like, the Chiefs are better than Philly. They're going to win this game. And they got annihilated. Yeah. Look, if you said to me that they're relatively healthy, I'll put it this way to you. If they block well, they'll win the Super Bowl. That's how I feel. Because when that team blocks for that guy, they win. They win every game they play. If they can block, I think they'll win. I do think genuinely that they're the best team in football. I think when that team has everything rolling and everything's right, they're the most Philadelphia certainly deserves every flower in the world, but they've lost a lot of guys. They lost half the defense. I would take the Chiefs, but I think it all comes down to what does the left side of that line look like. That's it for me.
Yeah, I'm going to go with true as well. I think they go back to the Super Bowl, and we'll see. I'll do my prediction for the actual game later, but I think they're just hard to bet against. They are unbelievable. It's very difficult to do. A lot of people might think Philly's really talented. They're going to be back in the Super Bowl. It's really hard to do, man. It's really hard just to get back. And the Chiefs are special. None of these other teams have proven themselves to be special yet in the way that the Chiefs are special in this dynastic run that they've had. We'll find out about Philly this year because they have a chance to start a little run of their own. But we're going to find out. That's why they play the games. All right, everybody, we got to get out of here. We are at time. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to Sports Illustrated's Matt Verderame. Thank you to producer Richard for hooking it up and all of our members. You guys are amazing. We'll be seeing you in the private Discord again. If you want to become a member of the Arrowhead Addict podcast, check out the link in the description. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel. Hit the bell so you get notified when we go live. We've had 2 emergency podcasts this week, Taylor Swift news and the Rashid Rice suspension news. So you don't want to miss a trick. And of course, you got to be over at arrowheadaddict.com getting all your Chiefs news and analysis from Matt Connor and Price Carter and Christian and the whole crew over at Arrowhead Addict. Check it out. We'll see you guys tomorrow for Freaky Friday. But until then, as always, go Chiefs.